I'm just going to pick up on this. I'm so tired of Democratic negativism on every single thing. Okay, Trump trying to conduct some diplomacy in the national interest. Democrats are against it. All they can do is say no, no, no. Joe Biden's last days, I mean, just to spite Trump, he's done some of the wackiest things I've ever seen. Let's talk about this with Rich Lowry, editor-in-chief of the National Review, and Joe Concha, Fox News contributor, and author of it's now the greatest comeback ever. That's the short form.
Well, there also is inside Trump's big, beautiful campaign.
That's what I'm looking for. I didn't. That's
Rich likes to tell.
No, never mind.
It works.
I'm just going to tell you, Democrats are pathetic. Joe Biden is an embarrassment. I mean, he has to shut down all drilling around the world, for heaven's sakes. He can't even give you a decent shower. He's cutting down the water flow. He's cutting down the electricity flow. But I was just watching today. What really sparked this, Trump is basically arguing for a return to the Monroe Doctrine to protect American interests in this hemisphere. And Greenland up there is actually very much a part of our hemispheric security. And all the Democrats can do is go out and attack and attack and attack. They are so negative. They have nothing to offer. They are defeatist. And I think that's why the public can't stand Democrats right now.
Yeah, well,
there, I said it.
They're defeatist and defeated. So for 10 years straight, they have mocked Donald Trump. It's been their reaction to everything, when he initially came down the escalator, to the press conference yesterday, and guess who's going to be president of the United States twice? Donald Trump. Right. Because he has taken the center from a party that moved radically left and told us the ridiculous lie that this pathetic man who is shuffling off the stage in the sad final hours of his presidency could be president of the United States for another 4 years. It was ridiculous.
Joe, I mean, it's one thing. I mean, I can read this. No drilling in the Atlantic and the Pacific. All the final episodes of weaponization and lawfare against Trump. You know what? Even the Medal of Freedom recipients. Okay, you know what? I would give Hillary Clinton a medal. If you're going to give them to a Democrat, all right, fine. She was Secretary of State. She was Senator. And she had to live with Bill Clinton all these years and his philanthropy. But I wouldn't give George Soros, and there's a laundry list. He's pardoning all these death row criminals. Yeah. I mean, this is just, you know what? This is nonsense. This is just crap. It's not even serious. It's just nonsense.
You are pissed off. That was the word you used during the break. I'll use it. I'll take the heat on this one. Yeah, dozens of inmates on death row, right? You know who he didn't give a medal to, by the way? Presidential Medal of Freedom? Didn't give one to Barack Obama. That's interesting because Obama gave one to Biden on the way out. That was his Rolex, so you're like retirement.
You know, I hadn't thought of that.
He snubbed Obama, but gave one to a monster like George Soros, who literally has blood on his hands for all the DAs that he has, all the riots that he helped fuel. And also, remember, and I spoke to Trump about this for interview for the book, actually, you just mentioned, he is really not happy with the fact that Joe Biden is selling off border wall pallets for pennies on the dollar, 3, 5 cents. And Trump says, you're only doing that to harm the country. What other possible motivation can you have? So, yeah, we're talking millions of acres of offshore drilling, by the way. That could be trillions of dollars in revenue if you actually realize that. Yep, there you go.
120 million acres.
And what did Hakeem Jeffries say, by the way? He was sent to Washington, and Democrats were to lower the cost of food.
Oh, right.
You signed the Inflation Reduction Act, all right? You signed off on that, so please don't.
This is after the worst inflation in 40 years generated by Democratic policies, which, by the way, Republicans voted against the 2 major spending bills. They voted against both bills. But the point is even bigger, Rich. Right now, Donald Trump is enjoying an incredible honeymoon of popularity, okay? His post-election thing has been splendid. Even newspapers that hate him are giving him good, relatively decent coverage, okay? And he's talking about serious issues, okay? And people want to talk about taxes, and they want to talk about the Panama Canal and defense and why China's invading our hemisphere, that kind of thing. Democrats had nothing to say, nothing to add to this conversation. They are killing themselves. They are getting off to the worst New Year's start imaginable, it seems to me.
Yeah, well, there are a couple of memorable moments yesterday from that press conference. But one was, once again, Donald Trump spoke in a fundamentally American voice about the hostages and U.S. citizens being held in Gaza, where he interrupts his envoy to say, they better come back or there's going to be hell to pay. Joe Biden never could summon that sort of righteous indignation about this horror being perpetrated against our own people. So, again, this is why Trump won. And I expect rapid success on the border and on energy.
Do you think that the Democrats will continue with their policy, the cultural policies of woke, do you think they're going to continue to push? I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
Biological men competing in women's sports, for example. DEI, for example. I mean, even American, all these big liberal companies. Here, I got one for you. Zuckerbucks is now getting rid of the scorecard for Facebook. Okay, how about that? And we have a chart that shows. I'm going to spend a little more time on this. I almost forgot to raise it. Put up the chart here. Zuckerberg, and listen, these are influencers on these websites, on these media exchanges. Look how they've changed. Facebook is more conservative. Instagram is they're all more conservative now. This is a remarkable change. Even Zuckerbucks is moving ahead of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, because he runs a business. And he said the political winds are changing. Those were his exact words. Trump's not in office, yet big things are happening, right? And that's what he's really speaking to. And Facebook's now going to move its content moderators, that division, from California woke to Texas not so woke. And that's a huge message there. The bottom line is that fact checkers, particularly for Facebook, were so overwhelmingly biased that now he's going to adopt, this is the Elon Musk effect now, community notes it's called.
Yes.
And that's crowdsourcing fact checking. So it's not down to one liberal person who says, I bequeath this to be X or Y. To answer your question, Democrats are so obtuse right now. I'm not sure it's deliberate, but to vote against 148 of them, vote against the Laken-Riley Act. You are taking the side of murderers and rapists in this country.
Incredible.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I guess they're still going to go down that road, except if you're John Fetterman, who is the voice of reason now for that party.
Dana White, UFC, is going on Facebook
on the board.
on the Meta board, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying he will badly kneecap Zuckerberg if Zuckerberg goes against this new free speech.
There are obviously policy consequences to this election, right? You've talked about them for a year, but there are also these downstream cultural effects that are huge. As Joe points out, we're seeing this before Trump even takes office, and the Trump victory was a sign to much of America the woke captivity can end, finally.
Got it. Good work. Rich Lowry and Joe Concha.